Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every person's life when they are faced with two paths. One lined with fleeting comforts and distractions, and the other paved with discomfort, structure, and sacrifice. The first is easy, but it leads nowhere. The second is hard, but it leads to everything. That second path is the path of discipline. Discipline is not a punishment. It is a choice, a powerful declaration that your future matters more than your impulses. Discipline is the invisible architect behind every towering success. It is the fuel of the early riser, the late learner, the tireless builder. It is the force that pulls you out of bed when comfort whispers, sleep. It is the fire that keeps you grinding when the world says, give up. You see, talent may get attention, genius might start the race, but only discipline, unyielding, unrelenting discipline, will carry you to the finish line. We live in a world addicted to hacks, shortcuts, and instant gratification. But let me remind you of something eternal. Nothing worthwhile is ever built in a moment. Castles of success are constructed one brick at a time, and each brick is laid with discipline. Think of every empire ever built, every breakthrough in history, every story of triumph you ever admired. They all share one common trait. Someone refused to quit. Someone chose to stay disciplined even when there was no applause, no reward, and no guarantee. That someone can be you. Your dreams are waiting. Your future is calling. And the price, it's not money, it's not connections, it's discipline. The ability to say yes to purpose and no to distraction. The power to follow through when nobody is watching. The courage to demand the best from yourself, not once, but every single day. So if you ask me what the secret to success is, I won't point to the stars. I'll point to the mirror, because it's not about what you wish for. It's about what you're willing to do again and again and again. Remember this, discipline is not part of the journey. Discipline is the journey. Not every fortune, visible or invisible, begins not in the marketplace, nor in the bank, nor in the boardroom. It begins in the mind. And yet the mind alone is not enough. Desire alone is not enough. Even faith, powerful as it is not enough without the force that directs it, discipline. Discipline is the master key, the tool that unlocks the vault where your richest potential lies. It is the silent commander of your habits, the unseen architect of your future, the one force that separates the merely ambitious from the truly accomplished. You may dream of abundance, envision success, and affirm prosperity each morning, but unless you possess the self-command to act on that vision with daily precision, the dream remains a shadow. Riches, both material and spiritual, flow not to those who want, but to those who are willing to pay the price in full and in advance. Advance is that price. It compels the entrepreneur to make the second call after the first rejection. It drives the student to reread the page when their mind drifts. It pulls the weary toward one more rep, one more try. Discipline whispers, this matters more. And here's the truth that most people refuse to face. Your success does not come from occasional effort. It comes from consistent application of intelligent effort over time, and only discipline makes that possible. Discipline doesn't shout, it doesn't dazzle, it doesn't seek praise. It works quietly in the dark so your success can shine in the light. The individual who masters discipline holds the master key to all riches, not just wealth in the form of money, but wealth of time, of peace, of health, of purpose. For the man or woman who governs themselves can govern any outcome. There is no genius without it, no greatness without it, no greatness without it, no lasting victory without it. Discipline sharpens the mind, hardens the will, strengthens the character, and builds the resilience necessary to persist where others fall away. And the moment you embrace it, not as a chore, but as a companion, something miraculous happens. Desire is the spark. It is the fire that ignites the soul, the seed of ambition planted in the rich soil of the mind. It is the beginning of all achievement. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Desire alone has no power. You may want success. You may crave greatness. You may burn with dreams so intense they keep you awake at night. But without discipline, daily, deliberate, determined discipline, your desire becomes a fantasy, a wish, a shadow of what could be. Desire untamed by discipline is like a stallion with no reins, wild, powerful, beautiful, but directionless. It can run in circles, it can wear itself out, but it will never reach the destination. The world is filled with people who wanted to write the book, meant to start the business, dreamed of changing their lives. But intention without discipline is a mirage. It looks like it's leading somewhere until you get close enough to see it was always just smoke and heat. Discipline is the great translator. It converts longing into labor. It molds emotion into execution. It transforms desire from a fleeting feeling into a focused force. Without discipline, your desire cannot take root in reality. It floats, it fades, it fails. It fails. Desire whispers, you could. Ion, discipline says, you will. Desire fuels you. Discipline finishes you. Desire gives you the dream. Discipline gives you the blueprint. But here's the secret most overlooked. The stronger the desire, the greater the need for discipline. For desire without structure breeds chaos. It stirs restlessness without reward. It creates a hunger with no nourishment, a vision with no vehicle. You may tell the world what you want. You may post about it, talk about it, affirm it every morning. But unless you are willing to bring that desire under the rule of discipline, willing to rise when it's inconvenient, to work when it's unrewarded, to sacrifice when it's unseen, then your desire will betray you. It will tease you with possibilities while chaining you to the same spot. All power begins in the mind. Every invention, every fortune, every revolution, every masterpiece first took shape as a thought. But thought alone cannot move mountains. It cannot build empires. It cannot change your life, not without the force that turns thought into movement, and that force is discipline. You may think great things. You may envision success in vivid color. You may fill journals with plans and fill your heart with belief, but until action is taken, the thought is just a vapor, a possibility, not a result. Discipline is the bridge. It is the structure that carries your vision from the realm of imagination into the field of reality. Without it, your thoughts remain trapped inside you, like gold buried deep in the earth, precious but untouched. Ideas are easy. Intentions are everywhere. The difference between those who dream and those who do is discipline. It is the daily choice to take what you know you must do and actually do it, especially when motivation is absent and nobody is watching. You can study every book on success, map out your goals with clarity, even surround yourself with vision boards and affirmations, but none of it will serve you until it is coupled with action. An action consistent and purposeful is impossible without discipline. Discipline is what gets the writer to write when inspiration is gone. It is what drives the leader to lead when the road gets dark. It is what pushes the athlete to train when the crowd isn't cheering. It is the quiet, often unseen commitment to act anyway. It is not about how you feel. It is not about waiting for the right mood or the perfect conditions. It is about commanding yourself to move, to create, to build, simply because you said you would. Thought is the spark. Action is the flame. Discipline is the match that lights the fire. So many people live suspended between what they think and what they do, trapped in a limbo of someday, paralyzed by perfection, seduced by procrastination. They think noble thoughts but fail to cross the bridge. The bridge is not glamorous. It is made of routines, habits, repetition. It is paved with early mornings, uncomfortable choices, and delayed gratification. But those who cross it find themselves standing in the world of results, while others are still dreaming. And once you understand that every step you take across that bridge strengthens you, sharpens your focus, deepens your resolve, builds your character, you begin to see discipline not as a burden, but as a gift, a sacred ally, a divine tool placed in your hands too. Before a man can conquer the world, he must first conquer himself. This is a law not written in any government's book, yet it governs all achievement. It is the unseen gatekeeper at the entrance of every triumph, every fortune, every great endeavor. Success does not respond to chaos. It bows to order. It surrenders only to the individual who has learned the sacred art of self-mastery. You may aspire to lead others, to shape industries, to carve your name into the walls of history. But if you cannot lead your own thoughts, your own habits, your own emotions, then all ambition is built on sand. The first and greatest victory is the victory over self. The ability to command your mind when it wants to wander, to command your body when it wants to rest, to command your impulses when they scream for pleasure over purpose. This is the root of all power. No army marches without discipline, no ship sails without a captain, and no life becomes extraordinary until the individual at the helm takes full control. You are both the vessel and the commander. If you leave the wheel unattended, the currents of the world will carry you wherever they please, into distraction, into mediocrity, into regret. But when you stand firmly at the wheel, when you direct your actions with unwavering intent, the winds themselves begin to serve you. That's when the tide turns. That's when the universe takes note. You cannot demand of life what you have not first demanded of yourself. Success is not seduced by words. It is attracted to discipline, to integrity, to control. It responds to the man or woman who rises when it is easier to sleep, who chooses principle over pleasure, who lives not by chance, but by choice. The person who can command themselves to act when they are tired, to continue when results are slow, to endure when the path narrows, is the person who holds the keys to every treasure this world has to offer. And here's a truth too many overlook. It is not your circumstances that determine your destiny. It is your decisions, and your decisions are only as strong as your self-command. A weak will cannot hold a strong vision. A scattered mind cannot build a focused life. But when the mind is governed, when the emotions are harnessed, when the inner world is disciplined, the outer world begins to shift. Success does not resist the man who has mastered himself. It quietly steps aside, because the one who rules himself. Destiny is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice, carved daily by the unseen forces we command or fail to command within ourselves. Among those forces, none is more quiet, more constant, more powerful than discipline. It does not shout. It does not shout. It does not beg for attention. It does not wear a crown or walk with applause, but its influence is unmistakable. It is the silent sculptor of greatness, the hidden engine behind every triumph, the invisible hand that, day by day, decision by decision, moment by moment, chisels your future into form. You cannot see it, but you can feel its presence in the lives of those who rise before the sun, who stay when others quit, who choose consistency over comfort. Discipline is not dramatic. It does not seek glory. It works in shadows, early mornings, quiet nights, routines that no one praises, until one day, the result it has built can no longer be ignored. People call it a luck. They call it a talent. They call it a genius. How? But those who understand truth know it is none of those things. It is discipline, dressed in the rewards it has patiently earned. Discipline is the force that says no when the world says yes to every indulgence. It is the force that keeps you aligned with your vision when distractions try to pull you in every direction. It is the compass in the storm, the root in the flood, the anchor in the noise. Destiny is not a single event. It is a cumulative outcome. And discipline is the builder, laying the bricks of habit, thought, and action. It decides whether you rise or fall, grow or stagnate, create or consume. It whispers, this is who you will become if only you are willing to stay the course. You can pray for success. You can wish for peace. You can visualize abundance. But without discipline, all these desires drift like clouds, unshaped, untouched. Discipline brings them to earth. It grounds them. It turns hopes into habits and dreams into days fulfilled with purpose. And the beauty is this: discipline asks no permission. It does not care where you were born, what you have, or what you failed at before. It makes kings out of ordinary men, legends out of laborers, visionaries out of the overlooked, so long as they are willing to obey its command. The most powerful force in human behavior is habit, for habit is destiny in motion. And when discipline, that fierce and focused energy of the will, is practiced long enough to become habit, you unlock a force so potent, so unshakable, that success is no longer a matter of if, only when. At first, discipline feels like resistance. It is unnatural to the undirected mind. It demands effort. It demands sacrifice. It asks you to do what is necessary, not what is easy. But understand this: discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It is the architect of it. For the man who has trained himself to act with discipline is no longer a prisoner to impulse. And here lies the secret few are willing to endure long enough to discover. Repetition transforms discipline into instinct. What once took force becomes flow. What once felt heavy becomes light. And becomes light. The same actions that once required willpower now require none at all. They are simply part of who you are. When discipline becomes habit, you no longer need to think about rising early. You rise. You no longer battle with procrastination. You move. You no longer debate the right choice. You are the right choice. Your very nature becomes aligned with achievement. Victory then ceases to be an accident. It ceases to be luck or coincidence. It becomes inevitable because your systems, your thoughts, your actions, your entire internal machinery has been calibrated to produce results. Not once, but over and over again. This is why the truly successful, those who create lasting generational change, do not rely on bursts of inspiration. They rely on the foundation they built brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. Discipline was their tool. Habit became their weapon, and results became their shadow. following them wherever they went. The masses wait for motivation. They wait to feel ready. But those who understand power, true personal power, don't wait. They build. They condition themselves through deliberate repetition until excellence is no longer an event, but a rhythm. Until they can no more skip the right action than they could forget to breathe. You must understand, this is not about temporary performance. This is about transformation. This is not about a single act of willpower. This is about reshaping who you are at the root. Because once you become the kind of person who automatically does what others avoid, who naturally chooses purpose over comfort, then the world begins to bend to your footsteps. Opportunities arrive. Momentum grows. Confidence compounds. And not because you forced success to happen, but because you became the person to whom success naturally belongs. A person forged in the quiet fires of habit, made invincible by the discipline, is not just a principle. It is the golden thread that weaves through every triumph, every legacy, every fulfilled destiny. It is the master key to all riches, unlocking doors that desire alone cannot open. It is the bridge between thought and action, without which all vision remains imprisoned in the mind. It is the invisible hand that shapes destiny, forming greatness while the world sleeps. It is the force that turns desire into reality. For desire without discipline is nothing but a beautiful delusion. It is the first battlefield, the self, because success yields to those who command themselves first. And when discipline becomes not just a decision, but a habit engraved into your very being, then victory becomes inevitable. All men wish, all men hope, but only the disciplined hit some. Come. Mine is not something you do. It is something you become. It is the quiet fire that forges character, the loyal servant that becomes your master tool, the path walked by kings, creators, and conquerors alike. So if you seek greatness, do not chase it. Become the kind of person it cannot ignore. Build the habits, master yourself, cross the bridge, shape your destiny, because when discipline reigns within, no force outside can keep you from the throne that waits. The crown is already forged. It is not earned in the spotlight. It is claimed in silence by the one who shows up day after day, moment after moment, when no one is watching. And that crown, my friend, belongs to the discipline. Thank you. Thank you.